Karibu kwa dunia ya The Book of Kah. Karibu sana to Albert Cinema. My name is Albert Nyakundi, and this is where you come for African movie reviews and things like that, film related content, TV related content. And today I'm going to be talking about the Book of Kah. What is it? Well, the Book of Kah is a cinematic universe. We like to call it the Book of Kah Universe. This is a sci-fi, fantasy, mythological world that's been created by Josephat and Albert Nyakundi, who happens to be my business partner and also a sibling, aka brother. We've been working together on various projects, film-related, animation and whatnot, for a number of years, about 10 years. So this is kind of the fruition of this project that we've been doing for quite a while. He created the world, still creating it. And I'm just going to kind of give you a breakdown of this. Is not like a review per se, because it's ridiculous. I'm a producer of the show and the movies and whatnot that are to come. So I'm not really it's not a review. It's just now this is the part where I talk about the projects that I'm doing. We are mostly in film, as you know, film animation. It's not content, it's film and animation, series or television. So, sorry, series for television or movies. Now, it's taken a while, because what we've been doing, slowly building, is trying to get the right equipment, trying to get the right skills and talents to do this, trying to get the and also to increase our knowledge base on what is actually needed to do this. So on that path, Josephat started with Lady Moran. This is I've covered this before some time back. I think there's a video somewhere on the list that you can find of that. So Lady Moran is basically, was the first project. So this universe, the Book of Kah Universe, is mainly going to be dealing with African kind of fantasy myths, African stories that are in that genre of fantasy and sci-fi. So it is something that people haven't really explored as much. So it's important that, I think it's crucial that we get into this space. We try to put our own creations in it, so that it's not led mostly, because a lot of what we know, like for example, Black Panther, that is American, it's Hollywood stuff. They did a good job, obviously, but they're using kind of the mystique of Africa to build the lore and whatnot, and they've done that with everything. If you look at how Marvel, DC do their things, they've picked from mythologies from all over the world. Thor, Wonder Woman, all those are kind of derivatives of mythology of, say, in the Europeans, part of the European culture, not just in general, like say the Irish or the Greeks or whatnot. They've pulled from all this to make such stories, and I think it's important that we throw our perennial heads in there and try and get African fantasy going. So that is what the Book of Kah is mainly. And after the Lady Moran, which I think the feedback we got from people is it's good, then we produced the Book of Kah now. This is kind of in the process of building the lore of this world, the characters, the different characters, and what the story might be, because really we haven't really opened it up as much. So because we were actually building up, because right now we have at least the equipment, the workstations that can handle kind of the quality that we want to put up there, the ultra realistic graphics and animation that we have access to right now. We're using a platform called Unreal Engine. It's I think the best, if not one of the best, real-time rendering platforms where you can do animation work, and many other film, you know, like The Mandalorian, it was done on that, but at least a lot of the worlds built. So it's really getting in to the forefront, you know, of technology at the same time. So a few things. Now, the Book of Kah, there is the one episode. So the process, or what we want to do with this, is first, we really wanted to first build the characters. So we wanted to do a series that will encompass slowly revealing this world and the characters in it, that we've already done to a small extent, but there are so many characters. Of course, we felt a series would be best. We did reach out to Epic Games, who have had a lot of grants to do this kind of work, you know, just to test to see people basically create on their platform. So we did get a small grant from the Epic Games, is it called a mega grant something? They've had it, they've spread money all over the world. So it's helped a lot of us kind of build now and have the confidence to try and compete with the big boys, so to speak. But in between here, we are going to produce a feature film, an animated feature film, which is kind of for kids and young adults and maybe the older folk that would prefer this, because it will be much more cost effective, and also it will be much easier to do on this Unreal Engine platform. So the feature film will be also built towards building the lore. There are many characters. We are also borrowing from our local tribes, Luanda Magere, Kijengetile, you know, such mythological and legendary creatures in our various stories. So, of course, on top of creating our own characters and creating our own worlds and whatnot, but we'll also be borrowing very heavily from African mythology. Obviously, we are starting with Kenya because we are Kenyans, and, you know, we have to start from there, but there's a lot to be explored across the continent. That's that as far as what we are trying to do with this. Now, going forward, at the moment, we are in the process of creating, because basically it's about resources. The resources that we have at the moment is to try and build the next episode, which might end up being a feature film. At least we know we'll be able to do an episode, but we really want it to be a feature film. This is kind of those long-term projects that you build, you know, like if you look at how Marvel and DC did that, they take 10 years, one movie after another, until they go to you know, Avengers Endgame and whatnot. You have what's the DC one called? I think they would have built something out of the Superman and Batman lore. What is this other thing called? Anywho, that one. So they've already kind of set a model for success, and not trying to recreate things to create models and whatnot. I think it works perfectly to try and tell stories like this. And we are going to borrow from that and build our own superheroes, our own fantasy, our own fairy tales, our own exploring that, so that, because we are always kind of playing second fiddle, and I think in as much as that's the case, we can produce something great. We can enchant the world with what we are creating here, because I believe strongly there's a lot more interesting stories in Africa that have not been explored. If you look at Hollywood at the moment, they're just regurgitating the same few really good comic book stories that have been told. And it's because really, I guess, I don't know that it's the writing talent is kind of suspect these days, but you see, you can tell they're going back to those old brands they created, and unless we're able to create our own in the same way, we can't compete. And that's where we are at the moment. And there are a few other people that are doing it. I think there's Andrew Kagia doing something the same, but that's yet to come out. But as we already have Lady Moran short film out there, we have the Book of Kah episode 1 out there, and now we are going for the third episode. I'll give you more details about what exactly it's going to be. You'll be able to at least when I talk to my business partner, also the creator, he'll be able to give you insight into where his mind is, where he's thinking about taking this. You know, with that, you know, this one was going to be a bit just about self-promotion, you know, what we are doing. I think you'll be excited to watch and follow us through this. Of course, go to our YouTube, 3D Africa Media. The whole episode of Lady Moran is there. The short film, you can watch that. You can follow me also here on Alboa Cinema, Facebook and Instagram, so that we can continue to support each other. Lastly, I'll be start doing kind of vlogs when I'm going on set, when I'm doing filmmaking work, documentaries or films or whatever it is, also within the studio, to show you the process of how we are producing some of these things. Those ones will be kind of not as edited as this one with the graphics, kind of like with my phone or whatnot. So I'll be adding that on just to keep the engagement going, and also to show you what we do, the back and what we go through to make sure you receive this high level entertainment. All right, see ya.